The opportunity to meet all of you again, and first of all, I would like to thank Papa, because without Papa, I would not have been able to stay here and stand here as a public official. Throughout all my political career, Papa not only gave me a lot of support in terms of manpower support, also a lot of resources, and also get me to play a much bigger role in the federal level. So this morning, standing here as the vice chair of the Greater Fremont chapter of PAPA, I'm so glad to be with you, and then I'm also very excited to see so many new faces, and I'm also glad to see so many parents. And first of all, I'd like to thank all the parents for your support, because without you, many of your kids would not be here. Not only you encourage them to apply for the summer internship, I believe that you will continue to play a very important role in their future life. Okay, thank you very much, parents. I know I'm the only person between you and lunch. Lunch is here, so I will be short. But I also want to tell you something that you can bring home. Thanks to Chonchi, he already covered the office etiquette. So for me, all I have to emphasize is 3 R's. Be responsive, be responsible, and eventually be reliable. So, but before that, first of all, you probably noticed that I was late for this morning's program because I went to church first, and then I came here. Every Sunday, even though I've been in the public office for over 10 years, every Sunday I make my great effort to go to church first, and then attend all the activities. And this is something that I want to share with you, because it's very important to have conviction in your heart. You can say, oh, I have compassion. I have compassion for civic activities, I have compassion for public services, but without a strong foundation, you cannot travel far, you cannot last long. There are so many, nowadays, personal attacks, in the political arena, and also there's so many temptations, and sometimes you will become someone that you no longer recognize, and that's very dangerous. So in order for you to fully understand why you're here and why you are continuing going on this path, it is very, very important for you to have a personal conviction. For me, it's my faith. And that faith actually gave me a lot of strength in my difficult times, but most of all, helped me mold into the person that's standing in front of you. Because in the Bible, in the book of Mark, it says, whoever wants to be great among you must be your servant. So that tells us that before you even become a leader, you need to be a servant and be committed to the well-being of other people. That's very, very important. So I know a lot of people think, let me get enrolled in some programs like the summer internship of PAPA, because they're well known, and if I put on the my application for college, I might get some credit, okay? Get some recognition. When I have been interviewing Harvard College applicants over the years, I always not look at what they do, but I also ask them during the interview to share with me what they learned from all those activities. You can sometimes even, with the help of a counselor, come up with very good written material. But during the interview, when I look into the eyes of the applicant, I can tell whether it's just for application or whether that's something they believe in. Now I stand in front of you and you can look into my eyes and see I'm lying or not. Even politicians always lie, okay? But I try to remember what's called the first love, in Bible. Like, why? Why do you want to do that? Why do you still want to do that? When people question your intention, question your skill, and question your achievement. Okay, after all, engaging in civic activities takes a lot of effort. Becoming a leader takes a lot of training. No one is born as a leader. I don't believe so. So in order to become a leader, you first have to go through the training. And humility is the most important thing. Because without humility, you're not going to learn from others. You're not going to learn from those giants on whose shoulders you're going to stand. So this is very, very, very important. The most important thing is humility. Even when you're elected, you stay in some public office, humility is still very important. Let me give you a very bad example. The state senator that represents Fremont, called Aisha Wahab, she got elected, and then she later got a doctorate degree in education. And suddenly, she started to introduce herself as Senator Dr. Wahab, which is very unusual in our circle. Typically, we don't put multiple titles before a person. Okay, either Dr. Wahab or Senator Wahab, but never Senator Dr. Wahab. Sure, when I stand here, I already got your attention. Maybe not because of who I am, but because what title I have. Oh, you have some expectations like, oh, what is he going to talk to me about? Okay, so I think for me, my purpose to stand in front of you is not to get your attention. Rather, I want to give you something solid. So the first thing is, okay, before you become a leader, you make sure you're humble. Even by being humble, you still will encounter difficulties, a lot of challenges, training process, learning process. So first thing you need to be is to be humble. Second thing, to be committed. When I interview Harvard College applicants, I also look at how long they've been doing something that they claim that they are passionate about. Okay, so if it's like a one summer thing, and to me it doesn't count. It really doesn't count. So if you put like, I'm a summer intern for Dr. Yan Shao, in the summer, and I will continue to tell you, like, after this internship, or even before this internship, what have you been doing in this area? Okay, I look for a track record. I look for a long history. Because after all, with a very short amount of period of time, it's very limited that you can achieve. Admit it? Yeah. So this is also something I look at. Okay, I believe when you go through college interviews, and the interviewers will ask you the same question because they have the same mentality. They not only look at what you do, but also how long you have been doing as a reflection of your commitment. Committing to civic activities, serving the public is a lifelong journey. I'm very glad that today you are here. By looking at you, I'm so glad that you all belong to the community called AAPI community, Asian American Pacific Islanders community. Sometimes people even add H afterwards, like representing Hawaiians. Okay, I don't want to generate a long list of letters, just like in some movements, they always keep adding, letters after letters and after letters, and then and no one can understand what that means. It almost completes the whole alphabet. For me, all I need you to understand is who you are. Okay, in the United States. Right now, the API population has grown to 40 million. And within the past 5 years, maybe a little bit over 5 years, the population also grew by more than 40%. That's great. But the sad thing is that we are the most underrepresented population in the society. 2 months ago, I was in DC. I was attending this National League of Cities Capital Conference. And because I was the first timer to attend such a conference, I was invited to the first timer luncheon. And in a room much bigger than this one, probably 3 times bigger or even 5 times bigger, there were more than 200 people. All first timers, like the mayors, city council members, attending this event. I looked around, and surprisingly, I was the only Asian in that room among over 200 people, mayors and city council members. Okay, that's bad. That's really bad. So this is the reality. In order for us Asians to not only to have our interests and benefits and well-beings well protected, we need people to be there in the decision-making group at all levels. And we're all doing our best, Henry, right? But for the future, we count on you. And we count on you to have a very solid start. I'm sure that you have been going through a lot of leadership trainings, and you will continue to receive leadership trainings. But what I want to put in your heart is something that you need to realize and then try not to commit yourself only for this 2 months. But it's a lifelong journey, as I said. For me, when I was at Harvard, working on my PhD degree in chemistry, one day I was wandering on campus, and I noticed that in Harvard Yard. How many people have been to Harvard or campus tour to Harvard? Oh, quite a few. Okay, thank you. Okay. How many of you took a picture with the statue of John Howard? Raise your hand. Okay, good. Thank you. Yes, rubbing the left shoes. Yeah, the left shoe. Okay. No, but you probably missed the one site in Howard Yard, which is called Dexter Gate. Howard Yard, unlike most college campuses, is surrounded by a fence with a lot of iron gates. But there's a gate which is not the iron gate, but it's like a Chinese city gate going through a dormitory building called Dexter Gate. It was built in 1910 by the donation of the class of 1890 and named after a student that already passed away at the time in 1894, and his last name is Dexter. So this is called Dexter Gate. So very similar to a Chinese city gate. It's basically a hole in the wall. And then there are inscriptions on top of that gate. If you are going to visit Harvard in the summer or by next spring, you will try to find out what I'm saying. So when you go inside Harvard and you see the inscription says, "Enter to grow in wisdom." But if you go in the opposite direction, namely going out of campus, then you see a different inscription which says, "Depart to serve better thy country and thy kind," which really inspired me until today. So that's part of the reason I am here as a city council member and a former school board member. But what I'm trying to tell you is that, sure, many of you maybe, or many parents believe that why you're here is because it will greatly increase your chance to get better higher education in the future. But what's next? So when I was at Harvard, it really inspired me to realize that not only should I grow in wisdom, which I tried, because in the Bible it says, knowing the Lord is the beginning of your wisdom. So I became a Christian at Harvard. The least place to become a Christian in the world, probably, surrounded by a lot of proud people, self-called elites, okay? But over there, I became a Christian. And then I also realized that the purpose of my life is not for myself. It's rather to serve thy kind. Who's your kind? Okay, I just mentioned AAPI. I also mentioned the underrepresentation in politics for the AAPI. So here is the challenge. And also here is the task. I want you to really take good advantage of this summer and then really try to learn from others. Try to understand what local politics is about. Because all politics start from local. And by working in different offices of public officials, you will understand the local politics and how decisions are made in different cities and local governments. But after that, ask yourself, okay, do I want to keep the compassion to continue to serve public in different capacities, including eventually running for office and become public official and represent first AAPI and then all voters in your community, so that as a whole we Asian Americans can have a much better voice in the society and also a much better future. Lastly, I also want to admit that it is not easy for you to make this effort to be in our internship, and I commend your efforts, especially the joint efforts by the students and your parents. And then I encourage all the parents to continue to play an active role in APAPA and also in local civic activities, because you're there already, and we can work together, and not only we can continue to grow the local APAPA chapter, but also we can set good examples to our neighbors, to our friends in the community, and they can join us. And then we can help ourselves to get AAPI better represented. That's my message. And thank you very much.